What's up, guys? It's Jake, the Ticket Leprechaun, back with my good friend Drew. And Drew's going to help me out today. I'm excited that I've hit 400 subscribers, and we're going to do a cool little contest, and Drew's going to help me out. I've got to give him all the credit. It was his idea. So tell him basically what we're going to do here, Drew, as far as the concept.
Okay. Well, if you've seen any of the other videos I was in or anything, and most of you guys I would assume would be like this, to me, baseball card collecting is about a story. And there are lots of stories that come with cards, whether how you got them, why you collect this card, this set, this player, or whatever. Maybe you pulled a card from a pack, maybe someone gifted you something, or whatever. But there's always stories that I find, and when you start talking to collectors, you really get to look at their collection. A lot of times they're not talking to you about, you know, oh, this is that card that's worth X amount of dollars. It'd be like, oh, this is the one that my grandfather, blah, 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 or this is one that I got when I was a kid, or whatever. And I'm very much like that. I'm about stories. I collect stories. I love telling stories. And yeah, so I thought, what a cool way to do a video maybe of, let's talk about some stories. I've got some cards that, in fact, almost every card in my collection has some story attached to it. Mm-hmm. And Jake's heard many of these, if not all of them. And I thought, why not share some with you guys? Because I guess now I'm your best friend. So
that's right. Drew's been on a guest. He's a celebrity on this channel now.
But anyway, so let's tell some stories. So as far as the contest or the whatever it is, I don't know if you want to talk about details or if you want to talk about the content of what we're going to do with the video first, or how we're going to do this.
Yeah, let's share some stories so that people stick around.
Okay.
And then I will go over the contest details and how you can enter. Maybe at the end, maybe it's in the middle. Just watch the whole video.
All right. So,
all right. So you start with the first one with a story. Show us something.
As I was leaving my house to come up to spend some time with Jake, I went to my collection and I just grabbed some cards that have very significant and what I find interesting stories attached to them. So I'm going to share. I brought 4. I hope I don't bore you too much, but I think they're pretty cool. This first one, it goes back to a text Jake and I went back and forth and said, what is your most valuable, least valuable card? Meaning, which is the card that's got so much sentimental value to you, but you couldn't get much money for it, you know, if you tried to sell it. So I'm going to share one with me. So I've collected, you know, off and on my entire life, especially in my adult life, but it was nothing that I did as a little kid. We really didn't have much money for that kind of thing. And so it was just something personal with me. My brother and I did it, but it was nothing, it wasn't a family thing to say. And anyway, when I was really at the height of collecting and trying to get stuff, my mother really, really wanted to get me a baseball card. And she knew about baseball, but she didn't know about cards. The internet was out. eBay was kind of a newish thing, and she figured she could try that. So what she did was she did some research, and she found a card that she found out I didn't own, and she bought it for me, and she gave it to me. And at the time, it was a super hot card, which is why she picked it. Since then, we'll just say circumstances have happened. It's not quite as sought after, I guess is the way to say it. And unfortunately, in 2008, my mother passed away. And so it is the only card in my collection that was given to me by my mother. So sentimentally, it's huge for me. So I'm actually very proud to have it, and I'm very proud to show it. But she gave me a 1990 Leaf Sammy Sosa rookie. At the time, it was graded. Like Jake, I busted all out. She bought it graded because that way she knew it was legitimate, and she knew that was important enough. Don't know what she paid for it. It doesn't really matter, but it doesn't matter what happens in my collection and me. This is a card that will always stay in my collection because it is the only card my mother ever purchased for me, and she did a lot of research to make sure she got something I needed, I would like, and it was authentic, and that means a lot to me sentimentally. So
that's really cool, man. That's a great way to start off the story card segment here. That's a good one, man. I'm gonna try and follow that up. When I was growing up, my favorite player was on my favorite team, Chipper Jones.
Sure.
You know, Western North Carolina, growing up, you could watch the Braves on TV, or you could watch the Cubs, and that was it. So I was a Braves guy. Braves country, it's the entire South, right? So my favorite guy was Chipper Jones. All right, I'm left-handed, my brother's left-handed, and he's the first player on my favorite team that I remember watching on TV that batted left-handed. Mm-hmm. Now, Chipper Jones is a switch hitter. I know that. He's my favorite player. Of course I know that. But he batted left-handed. And that's why I chose him as my favorite player. It's why I wore 10. It's why my brother wore 10 because of me. Okay? So, when Chipper had a great career and he was elected to the Hall of Fame and he was going to be inducted, it came about that I had the opportunity to go. I wasn't going to go because I didn't want to miss work. I was working for the Gastonia Grizzlies, a baseball team at the time. Mm-hmm. And they said, no, you need to go. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's your guy. If you can be there, you need to be there. So I went. I saw Chipper get inducted. And how this card ties into that, it's the only one of these that I currently own. It's a Topps Now card. And it's of Chipper Jones's induction. So that's him at the podium. I still got the video on my phone of him far away, talking, giving his induction speech. And that's the back of him from his playing days. So that card isn't worth that much money, but it means a lot to me because I was there. I got to see my favorite childhood player inducted into the Hall of Fame in person. So that's my first one.
Well, since we're sticking with sentiment at this point,
so far.
In a previous video, I'd mentioned my wife, Nancy, and how she has been super supportive. Both Jake and I are blessed with amazing wives that support our crazy hobbies. And she would ask me, what cards do you want for Christmas or whatever? And I would give her a list and I would look on eBay and I would say, okay, they're going for X amount. And I would give her a price. And she couldn't handle me having trash cards. She just couldn't have, and I didn't care. I didn't care if there's little writing or the corners are dinged or a little crease somewhere. To me, for her, she couldn't deal with that. If I'm gonna spend this kind of money on a piece of cardboard, is what she'd say, I'm gonna get you a nice one, whatever. So one year I did a pie in the sky. I said, you know what? I've always loved this card. I put it on the list, never thinking I'd get it. Well, for weeks after this, I might be in the bedroom and we have an office right outside and she'd be on the computer and she'd say, I'd be in a minute. I said, okay. And I didn't know what she was doing. And then she would say, oh man, I can't believe it again. She'd yell out. And I'd say, what are you doing? Just never mind. And I'd say, I didn't understand what was going on. Yeah. Well, after the weeks and stuff, I found out that she was constantly bidding on a card that she felt was worthy of what I would deserve, which is super sweet to think that way. And ultimately she did find, don't know what she paid for it, don't know if I want to, but way higher than my grade level of what I would collect. But she did find me the 1953 Satchel Paige card.
Awesome card.
And it's in great condition, especially for what I would collect. And what she was doing was, that year was the year that she found out about sniping programs, which is what the yelling was about. Was she kept getting sniped last second. And finally, so she told me, I don't care what you do with the rest of the collection, but that we call them Satchmo, that Satchmo better be up in your room to be the last card there. So I will never get rid of it. It's actually, when I go into my room, no matter to ponder or look around or just to grab something, I always look at the Satch. I know where it is. I know how I got it, and it means absolutely the world for me because of the story behind it, of why my wife loved me so much to be able to get me such a nice card and deal with all those terrible, terrible sniping programs. So there you go.
Absolutely. Great job, Nancy. Great job.
Absolutely.
Cool card. The next one I'm going to share has a YouTube story behind it. Somebody that I've got to know a little bit, and I hope to get to know more. I hope to meet him at a national one day. He's going to figure out who he is before I'm done with the card. It's the only time I've ever done this. If you guys have watched my channel enough, you know that I love Perez Steel autographs. I love Hall of Famers. And a lot of those you can get cut autographs of guys that were deceased before the postcards came out. So when my friend here on YouTube contacted me and said, hey, I've got a spare one of these autographs. Imagine having a spare one of these autographs. But he said, I've got a spare one. I know you're a big Hall of Fame guy. It'd make a great Perez Steel. Are you interested? I said, yeah, send me some pictures of it. And he did. And, you know, he fully guaranteed everything. It wasn't authenticated by a major company yet. And so I decided to get it from him, bought it from him. And I was so nervous to do this, and I'm left-handed. I was talking about that before. Scissors, one of the worst inventions on the face of the earth. They're terrible. I know they make left-handed scissors, but you know, they're hard to find, okay? Most people have right-handed scissors. They're not fun. I actually had Amy cut the autograph so that I could paste this on here to make this card.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. In the video that I did, I actually talk about it a little bit, but Amy cut the piece of paper for the cut. I was a nervous wreck.
I'm sure she wasn't too excited either.
She was like, what's the big deal? I'm like, it's a big deal. And you guys will get it when I show it to you. But Bill, Hall of Fame collector, he's who I got the autograph from here on YouTube. And it's of Hall of Famer Tony Lazzari. So any of you Hall of Fame collectors out there know that's a pretty big autograph. That's a pretty tough one. And I was very nervous watching my wife cut that up when she was like, no big deal. And I'm like, don't mess up. But that's a cool story. And, you know, I may not have been able to get one if it wasn't for making a friend through YouTube. So that was kind of cool, a cool story behind that. So, what do you got next?
Next one. So the last two I have, as well as the satchel, all of them go around Nancy and what she's done for me in my collecting. The next one is just kind of super sweet, and it's very, I don't know, it's one of those sort of give you chills sort of feeling. And but I love the story, and it's a huge connection for me and who I like and collecting and all this other stuff. And then the final card is more funny, but it's a great story. It may be the best story I've heard of any kind of card, and this is we'll get to that one anyway. So the next one, back when Nancy and I were just dating, we long distance dated. I live in Georgia at the time; she lived down in Orlando, and we were long distance dating, and it was my birthday. It was my 33rd birthday, and she had sent me a gift or something, and then I got an email that said, Nancy has sent you $33 in your PayPal account. And I said, what is this for? And she said, just find something, a card or something you might like. It's just a little bit of money, not much, but it was $33 for my 33rd birthday. And I thought, well, that's cool. So I get on eBay and I started looking around for stuff. What can I find? And I was kind of new to how much stuff could be and should be and all this other stuff. But anyway, but I found a card that I always loved. It's actually one of, in itself, even before I owned it, one of my top 5 favorite all-time cards that's ever been produced. And
it's an iconic card.
Yeah, it truly is. And so I was looking around and, you know, not really knowing as much as I should have at that point. I thought, oh, wouldn't it be great if I can get this card for 33 bucks? Well, so anyway, but I found one in pretty rough shape, and it's got some creases. It's not centered well, but it's still without them saying it is a beautiful image still. It is. And I put in my bid, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to do the whole nickel and dime thing. Max bid, 33 bucks. That's what I had. Let's go with that. And lo and behold, no one beat me, and I won this card for $33.
Can't believe it.
Can't believe it, but I own it. 33 bucks. And I was able to get through this wonderful birthday gift, a 1953 Bowman Pee Wee Reese. As you can see, not the best of shape with some creases on it, but still a great card nonetheless. And after I received it, it was at that point where I realized that not only did I get this for the $33 that she had given me, but it is also card number 33 in the set, which is backwards at this point to you, but still great story, great card. I love it to death. So there you go.
I know Alex Bowman 53 will appreciate that card. He did that whole set, and Pee Wee Reese is his guy. He actually owns like 10 copies of that card or something now.
I only have 2. How many do you have?
0.
There we go.
That was me. Let's move on to another story. So myself, my brother, one of my best friends, Vire, and my cousin Tommy went to a Cubs game. And it was part of our trip to the National back in 2013. And first we went to a Tigers game, right? And me, my brother, and my cousin dress up in costumes. All right, I'm Abraham Lincoln. My cousin is street clothes Joe Tinker. And my brother is Robin, like Batman and Robin, right? And we go, and my other friend didn't dress up. And we went to the game, and he was so upset by the time we left because every person and their brother and sister wanted a picture with us. They said, hey man, you're standing here, will you take the picture? So he had to take all these pictures at Tiger Stadium, right? And so we go into Chicago, we go to the National, and we go to a Cubs game. We dress up again. As soon as we get to Chicago, my friend is like, yo, wherever there's a costume store, take me there. I'm getting a costume. I don't care what it is. Like, I have to dress up. I'm not taking pictures for everybody. So he buys an outfit of Mario, like Mario and Luigi, right? And what he does is gets in there with us. We go to the game. We get in there. People already notice him. They're taking pictures with us and stuff on the way in. We sit in the outfield bleachers. And you know how the outfield bleachers are at Wrigley. Kind of crazy anyways. And, you know, everybody's taking pictures with us. The staff from the Cubs come over, say, hey, can we take a picture of you guys? Put it on the website. Yeah, sure. So we do that. And we're watching, you know, the game. And the guys next to us are from Chicago. And they say, hey, yo, look at this. And they show us a picture that their buddies had sent them of them on TV next to us.
That's so
on
funny.
TV. Because we were like straight behind home plate. And then we get to the seventh inning stretch, you know, bigger deal at Wrigley than really anywhere else.
Yeah.
And I still get chills talking about it. As Abraham Lincoln, I stood up on the outfield bleachers and led the bleachers and take me out to the ball game as Abraham Lincoln. And it was great. I was in full character the whole time, you know, the whole Abraham Lincoln, vote for me, to everybody we saw. And it took us like an hour to leave the stadium because everybody just wanted to take pictures with us. And we went to Wrigleyville afterwards, and everybody's like, yo, we saw you guys on TV, like, take a picture with us. It was a blast. And we had been on Intentional Talk and on Sports Nation and Baseball Tonight, all this stuff after we got home. It's crazy. And time goes on after this had happened. It was really cool, and we got a picture. I'll drop that right here. So that was the picture, right? And my cousin got me this really cool gift to go along with it. He had an artist create a custom card of that picture. And it's super cool. I mean, you can tell right there, it looks just like the picture I just showed. And really, really cool. One of the special cards in my collection that is baseball related, but at the same time, it wouldn't mean anything to anybody else.
Yeah, sure.
But it means a lot to me. It's a really cool memory. So
that's awesome. I love it.
Good story with that
I
one.
love it. I've heard the story. I haven't seen the card, so that's really cool.
It's the first time you've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, that's really neat. Yeah. All right, so last story I have to share, at least for today, goes back to my wife again. At one point, I was putting together 52 Bowman set, and same thing, what we want for Christmas, this and that. Told her some of the stars that weren't too crazy, but whatever. And like I said, she would always want to get either a graded card so she knew it was authentic, or a nicer card so she knew, you know, it was not just junk or whatever. So I gave her a list of some cards, and so I guess I'll tell the story from how I learned about this.
Sure.
So Christmas Day, I open up, and any card that I get that's graded, I end up breaking it out because that's the way God intended them to be.
That's right.
So when I show you this card, is the only card that I have not broken out.
I can't wait for you to show it.
It would be a sin to break this card out because the story is so amazing. So here's what happened. Apparently, this card came, or it was mailed, and of course had tracking and all this. And my wife gets a notification on her phone that says such and such a package delivered. So she sends my daughter to go out and say, hey, can you grab the mail? And we live kind of in a rural area, so you know they'll drop it on the porch or whatever. Right. And it's not really a big fear of porch pirates or any of that kind of stuff. But anyway, so she drops it, or she goes out to look, and there's nothing here. This there is, it's got to be out there somewhere. And she goes looking, it's not out there. And so my wife goes out, they're looking around in the porch, underneath the porch bench and all this stuff. Nothing, there's no package. And my wife knew what it was. She knew it was this card. She knew what she paid for it, and she knew that it said had been delivered. So she calls the post office and she's like, hey, I was supposed to get this package. It said it's supposed to be delivered. There is nothing here. And they said, well, according to our system it is, but it's possible that maybe there's a fill-in delivery driver, and maybe they just checked everything's been delivered and it will be. So just give it a little bit more time in case they come, or some story like that. And so she waits and nothing. She's getting more nervous and they're kind of like really getting worried. She gets back on the phone. She's actually on the phone with our local postmaster, whatever. And my daughter looks in our backyard, and we are up against the woods, and we have a family dog. Hi, Rascal. And she's like, Rascal's got something. And my wife says, what? And looks out, and what they see hanging out of the corner of our dog's mouth is some manila colored something. And to which that they go out, and apparently my dog likes baseball cards as well, and got the package and started chewing on it and ripped the bubble wrap to death. Wherever she had purchased it from, he had gotten through the bubble wrap, he had gotten through the extra wrap, through the cardboard layer, and he was working on the actual case. They were able to save the card.
Scary.
Terrifying. And because of that, even today, there is zero damage because of that day of the dog to this card. But in this, I have my only graded card, which is a 1952 Bowman Roy Campanella that has been personally autographed by my dog. And you can see that case is toast. However, the card is undamaged, not a dent or a scratch or anything. 5 more minutes, probably would have been gone, but yeah, so I have my only graded card. Thanks to Rascal, I've got one of the greatest stories of all time, and it gave my wife a heart attack. But hey, I mean, you can't beat a story like that. It's a beautiful card and a great story, and there you go. So there's my last stories from what I brought with me.
I think that's the only way to beat for you getting a 52 Bowman Campy, was for that to happen, and now you have that story.
Absolutely.
It really is.
Sure.
So guys, thanks for checking out all the stories. Now, for the details of the contest. After Drew and I had a great time kind of sharing some of those cards that have special stories that don't necessarily have to be worth a lot of money. They could be, they may not be. But what I want you to do for my 400 subscriber contest is share 1 to 5 of your story cards and tell me a story. Tell me a story behind those cards. I know Drew would love to check them out too.
Absolutely.
The rules are, show off 1 to 5 items, we'll say, that are story items in your collection. You have to link it to this video so that I can find it and so that Drew can find it so we can check them out. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna have 2 winners. I will give 1 month from this date today to turn this in at this time, exactly 1 month to get your video in and post it and link it here. If you're one of the 2 winners, you will get to, the first winner will select first. He'll pick one of these cards, and the second place winner will get the other card. Okay, so we've got 2 Hall of Famers here. We've got a 1980 Topps Rickey Henderson rookie card and a 1958 Topps Al Kaline, also a Hall of Famer. 2 great players there, 2 great cards. So thank you guys, whether you're an old subscriber or a new subscriber or tuning in for the first time. Thank you for your support on my channel. Thank you for checking out the video. Please like and subscribe. And until next time, as always, keep collecting. God bless.